it's time for the best time of the year. It's Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights. I'm the Legend, joined by Molly, and we're going to show you around the event for 2019. All 10 haunted houses, the scare zones, the shows, the food, the drinks, the merch, everything. Let's go check out Halloween Horror Nights for 2019. So let's kick off the tour by talking about the 10 different haunted houses that are at this year's Halloween Horror Nights event. Starting first with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, based off the 80s cult film. And this is a movie I actually really enjoy. I own it on Blu-ray. I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan for years. This has always been a property I've really wanted to see a Halloween Horror Nights based off of. So I was really excited for this house. I will say I was probably a little bit let down by it. It did feel a bit on the budgety side, but at the same time, it did really nail the movie and the vibe of the movie. Stealing the show was Clownzilla, the ultimate evil clown from the film, is done in a really cool giant puppet fashion. Also other stuff, there's some fun interactive buttons in here. The costume characters look great. A couple other scenes that are really fantastic too, with a puppet show and then a scene with the shadow puppets from the film. Those are really well done. Next up, probably one of the most anticipated houses of the entire year, and that is Stranger Things. This is based off of seasons 2 and seasons 3 of the hit Netflix TV show. Again, another franchise I'm a big fan of, seen every episode of it. And this house, it's a long haunted house, might be the longest one at the event. It seems like it goes on forever, which is great, especially with the lines this thing drew. There was probably a 2-hour wait for this thing, a good chunk of the night, 90 minutes when it was not 2 hours. And it was a long house, so you do get some of that value back for that long wait. Some good, some bad. The 11s looked absolutely spot on, but unfortunately the demi-dogs from Season 2 did not look good at all. And I was excited for them. They've done such great stuff in Horror Nights with puppets. When you look at American Werewolf in London or Alien vs. Predator, so I was hoping something to that level, and I really don't think we got that with the demi-dogs. There was a Russian soldier halfway through that was just fantastic, one of the best scare actors out there. And the Mind Flayer food court scene totally stole the show right towards the end of the house. Giant creature in there. And there was also a great simple arcade scene. The first original house I went through was Yeti Terror of the Yukon, and it felt like just a classic Horror Nights house. It was very detailed, there were cool sets, tons of Yeti scare actors, and these dudes were tall, man. These Yetis were 7 feet tall. There was some great use of projections, and one really cool, gory intestine rip scene. Next up was another big intellectual property, and that was Us, based off this year's massive blockbuster horror film by Jordan Peele. And this was it's pretty much, the house was exactly what you think it would be, but it was very well done, very true to the movie. It does feature a really cool double facade of the 2 different generations of that mirror maze. I love the bunny room. It's got a great ending. And also, this was scarier than I think most Horror Nights houses. I've always said that the Horror Nights houses are the least scary haunted houses you could go through, with the conga line and the foot triggers hitting the audio cues and things like that. So Horror Nights houses are not normally that scary, but this is probably one of the scarier ones of the event this year. Graveyard Games is up next, and it had a awful exterior facade, which is a kind of like a Facebook feed on a warehouse, but a great interior facade. This house, classic Halloween, classic haunted house. Essentially, it's themed after just kids goofing around in a graveyard playing games, and the ghost in the graveyard did not much care for that and pretty much killed them. Tons of actors, some really cool ghost effects. At one point, there's just a pitch black hallway where you can't see your hand in front of your face. I also imagine that will not last, because that really would slow down the line and the throughput of this haunted house, so I would not be shocked if that goes away. Also, I kind of get the vibe that whoever created this haunted house hates punk millennials, as they are dead everywhere, all over the house, playing with cell phones. Moving on to Universal's Classic Monsters, and this is a house they've done a couple times at Horror Nights on the East Coast and the West Coast, but this year it's done really well. This is in the new parade building in the back of the park, out past Barney and Kid Zone, and it had really great sets, lots of great steps, and I loved houses like this where you get a bunch of different stuff. So you get a little bit of Wolfman, a little bit of Frankenstein, a little bit of Dracula, a little bit of Hunchback, all things like that, to make that 5-6 minute haunted house go really quick, because it's not the same thing over and over again. This is another house that's really long as well. There does have some cheesier stuff in there, like the Creature from the Black Lagoon scene, which was a cheesy film itself, is done up as a cheesy room in the haunted house. There's a great set for Frankenstein, and by far my favorite part of this haunted house was there's a Hunchback of Notre Dame, on a pulley system, the actor is, and it's just really cool. 2 original houses up next. It's Nightingale's Blood Pit, and this is a callback. They did a Nightingale's house a number of years ago. I think it was 21 or 22, maybe 20, and it was all themed the first time to World War I. This time it is themed to ancient Rome. and the like the gladiators and things like that. And this one, it was just okay for me. It was gory, but it was also repetitive, detailed. I felt like the Nightingale's characters looked different from last time, but the masks felt a little bit on the cheap side. If you're into that kind of thing, 1+ for you. There's a lot of half-naked dudes in this house, so you know, there's a lot of clientele that'll be into that. And there is a big giant lion puppet in the middle that totally steals the show of that haunted house. But again, I'm a puppet guy. The other original in this corner, also in a tent, is the Depths of Fear, which is an interesting house. It's like kind of like an underwater alien house. It's got all these cartoony giant aliens, some really cool sets, water features, excellent use of screens. I will say one thing both tent houses did this year is they had some really cool facades and sort of like tunnels on the outside that didn't make you feel like you were going into a tent house. The one negative on this, they do get negative points for killing a house pet. That was something Frank Kincaid told you never to do in a disaster film, and I assume that probably goes for haunted houses as well. Next haunted house is House of a Thousand Corpses. This is a Rob Zombie movie. This was the only intellectual property during the event that I was really not familiar with. I've seen everything else, did not see this film, but the house, it was pretty decent. First of all, this movie must be messed up, because this haunted house was pretty weird. Definitely a messed up movie, I would guess. It's a very detailed haunted house. It had an excellent facade, really good facade. Also, I would say this is probably in the tent right by Men in Black, so that kind of catering style tent. And it's probably the best house they've ever done in that tent area. I liked it better than the Blum houses or the Chance house. Definitely, this was probably my least favorite house of the event, but it was not bad. Like, this is my least favorite of the event, but by no means is it a bad house. And if you've seen the film or you're into Rob Zombie stuff, like I know Kenny, who's probably listening to this right now, he's well into Rob Zombie stuff, so he'll probably really enjoy it. And last but certainly not least was my absolute favorite house, without a doubt. This one, to me, was just heads and tails better than everything else at the event, and that is Ghostbusters. I will say this is not a very scary haunted house at all. This felt much more like a Ghostbusters walkthrough attraction than it did a haunted house. And Ghostbusters is a franchise I kind of grew up on, not on the movie, but really on, I was born in '85, so I grew up with the toys, and I grew up with the cartoon shows, and I had all of it. You know, I had the Proton Pack backpack and the foot pedal stomp ghost trap. I had the firehouse and the Ecto-1, all the figures, so I grew up very big on the Ghostbusters brand, and then walking through that now as an adult was really, really cool. Tons and tons of giant sets, tons and tons of effects, lots of Slimer. Oh man, I love this. We'll be going back to Halloween Horror Nights plenty of times throughout the course of the year, and this is the house I want to hit every single time because it was so much fun. Really well done, giant sets. So, I mean, they must have spent a ton of money on this house. They nailed it. Another thing that's new for Halloween Horror Nights this year is they are using their lagoon. They have a big fountain lagoon show that goes off 3 to 4 times a night. It is called Halloween Horror Nights Marathon of Mayhem and features pretty much your biggest IPs of the event. So there'll be a segment about killer clowns, a segment about Stranger Things, a segment about Ghostbusters, a segment about the classic monsters, and it's a really fun show. I would say it probably runs about 10 minutes or so. A little bit different than the main show they do during the normal time because there is no pyro, so that's a little bit of a downgrade, but that also, without doing the pyro, they could run it 3-4 times a night. And it's cool. It definitely gives you a break from, haunted house, haunted house, haunted house. It used the infrastructure they already had, and I quite enjoyed this. I would definitely try and make your time to see this during the event because I like nighttime spectaculars anyway, but I thought this one was well done. It's cool to see one spooky and Halloween-y. I actually think they did a better job with killer clowns in the fountain show than they did in the killer clowns haunted house, and definitely make your time to go see this because it was a lot of fun. Returning for the 4th year and in the big Fear Factor stage is the Academy of Villains. This year's show is called Altered States. Unfortunately, you can't see everything in one night here at Horror Nights, so we're not going to get to see this tonight. Going to have to come back a different day over the weekend to check this out. But a big dancing show. In the San Francisco area is Rob Zombie's Hillbilly Deluxe Scare Zone with fire. That's a plus. Definitely takes the Vikings Undead Scare Zone. Which is foggy. They've got a Scare Zone themed to Zombieland Double Tap, which I guess is the upcoming Zombieland sequel. And I really like Zombieland 1, but this zone it's not good. There's like very few props. Oh, the costumes are just lazy zombie costumes. Not one of their better efforts. I do love that they built like a fake SNS tower in the middle of the zone. That's definitely the coolest. That's the highlight right there. So I'm not normally the biggest fan of midway games at parks, but here at Horror Nights, you can win Fraggles. So here in the extended queue of Transformers, they set up a giant bar, and the really good draft beer selection, like that is you're not messing around. That's 8 very solid draft beers. There is also 1 pre-mixed drink. Never order the pre-mixed drink. That's what's in it. Just don't do it. Sure, it'll sound good, but just don't do it. Go for one of the beers. There is a hard cider if you're not a beer person, but man, I love that beer list. Like Shipyard Pumpkinhead, High Lie, good stuff. So it would not be Halloween Horror Nights without a Blinky Cup, and this year's Blinky Cup has Ghostbusters on it. Now, it looks great, like this is a great cup, but I'm kind of mad because like all the other ones have like the logo on it. So I've been collecting these for like, this is my 11th year coming to Horror Nights, and I get one every single year. And this one's gonna mesh. Molly, if you can hold it for a little bit. Like, if I put it up on the back, it kind of looks more like it. And since it is a Blinky Cup, it does blink. Ooh. There we go. Really cool cup this year. I will also, there's no discounts for refills, so really just use the cup once and then just get a plastic cup, like a disposable cup. So the food court area for Horror Nights this year is themed to the Starcourt Mall. I'm going to show you some of the different options you could get. This one looks like dessert, so it's mini donut, chocolate dipped bacon on a stick, and then some beer. A couple more food items here in the food court area. You got an Asian themed and a Spanish themed one. Looks like you've got a Loti and Fundito over here. And then, well, I'm not really sure. But some options over there, the Asian food. Well, over here by Kids Zone, you can find 2 of the, in SpongeBob, you can find 2 of the marquee food items. S'mores fries, which is like, I guess like sweet potato fries with like marshmallows and chocolate on them. And then pizza fries. I would love to have some, but I'm not waiting in a 30 to 40 minute line for snacks. So one great thing about Halloween Horror Nights this year is that Voodoo Donuts are doing special Halloween themed donuts. So here are those 3 special donuts. There's a Stranger Things waffle, a Stranger Things run, and a vampire. And they look like this coming through here. Vampire's pretty adorable. So we're going with 2 out of the 3 of the Halloween donuts. The waffle one from Stranger Things, and then the vampire one. It's a pretty adorable looking donut. I love the blood teeth. Quick review, both are really good, but I think the vampire over there is the winner. I love the Oreo Bavarian cream it's got in the middle of it. Alright, let's check out what kind of merchandise is for sale in this year's Halloween Horror Nights at the Tribute Store. Love the giant cat you're walking through. So the first room in the Tribute Store is all Ghostbusters themed. Always very important for sale in the Tribute Store. If you crap your pants, there's shorts available for you to buy. I will say the Ghostbusters shirt they're selling, it's a pretty awesome Ghostbusters shirt. Here's a shirt if you're Kenny and into Rob Zombie stuff. So this one is like the Halloween shirt for this year with a logo on the front, and then a lot of the house is on the back. Obviously there's no Ghostbusters on this shirt. Apparently Ghostbusters did not want to be involved with some of the more gruesome brands. Pretty nice zippered up hoodie here. On the back, a lot of the characters from the different houses. We'll flip this thing up. There you go, better shot. You got a Horror Nights 29 license plate. A couple of really cool pieces of merchandise here. You got a McDonald's, like, not exactly a pint glass, but like a cocktail glass, reminiscent of the old McDonald's style. And then you got a print of the, sort of like the logo shirt. The next room is all Stranger Things, complete with the upside down and a demon dog and all that. Really cool Stranger Things tumbler kind of glass. The same logo is on a t-shirt as well. Get the logo on another tumbler here, along with pretty much anything you want. Phone cases, lanyards, cheerleader bags. Probably the most interesting casing of anything, shaped like a VHS tape. It's Ghostbusters socks, or Horror Nights socks. You got another retro style McDonald's-esque glass here with Stranger Things on it. So Molly has really enjoyed this Lady Stranger Things purse, I guess.
It's a backpack.
Backpack, purse, whatever. All the characters are right side up, some upside down, and then turn around, Molly. Over there dead is Barb. We got merch here for the Palace Arcade at Hawkins. And then if I turn around, more Stranger Things stuff, Camp Nowhere. And then a different poster down here. That's really cool, where you have like the mind flare over the globe. Another cool detail here in the Stranger Things section, like the mind flare drawings on the wall. Molly, you're a lady. What are your thoughts on this dress?
It's very interesting. Not me, but I could see a lot of people wearing it.
Gotcha. They do have a new third room this year in this store, so it just keeps going on and on. Looks like it's a loose classic monster theme in here. If you're a fan of the Clowns from Outer Space like myself, they have a t-shirt dedicated to Clownzilla. Over here they have a line of merchandise for the scare zones, like a shirt or a sign. Pretty cool. So Molly, I believe this is your favorite piece of merchandise. A zippered hoodie, says Horror Nights 29 on the front, and then on the back is Stranger Things.
Yes, I almost bought it last year whenever it was last year's theme.
And that'll do it for Halloween Horror Nights 29. Overall, I thought the event was really, really strong this year. Molly, what were some of your thoughts on the event?
I also agreed it was very strong. There was no horrible houses, but there was no houses that really blew my mind, though. I did love Ghostbusters, but Ghostbusters was probably my favorite house, followed by Stranger Things. But there was no horrible houses, I would say.
See, I would disagree with you. I think Ghostbusters was the go-to. That's the showstopper. That's the big time. This is going to be like a top 5, top 10 Horror Nights house for me. That was really what stole the show for me. But I agree with you. It's a very strong lineup this year. Outside of Ghostbusters, everything else is kind of in that 5 to 7 range if you're grading them out of 10. But it's cool because there's no 2, there's no 1, there's no bottom of the barrel house. We'll say Horror Nights, if you haven't been before, it is a long, long night. We had an express pass, so which you might want to consider doing, or else it'd be very difficult to see everything in the event, and it's still a long night. So I would definitely say, don't try and go all day in the theme park and then go all day at Horror Nights, because you are going to be so exhausted your feet might fall off. And I would definitely consider that express pass, because lines are going to be long this year with that trio of big name IPs and how popular this event is. I would definitely consider doing that if you have the money to do so.
No, I agree. Definitely, especially if you only have one night, I would definitely use the express pass.
Yeah. And that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching our Horror Nights tour and review video. We're excited. We got the the frequent fear with the express pass, so we'll be back plenty of times throughout the course of the event. And I can't wait to go through some of these houses a lot more. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.